At the beginning of the story, we see a man named Bresson, a renowned archaeologist. Bresson possessed a unique diary that contained a map to a priceless treasure. German Nazi soldiers were after Bresson's diary and were determined to get it by any means necessary. Realizing that the Nazis were coming for his diary, Bresson handed it over to his son and told him to leave with the family immediately. Obeying his father's command, Bresson's son took the diary and left with his family in a car. Meanwhile, the German soldiers arrived at Bresson's place and demanded the diary. Bresson refused to reveal anything about it, which angered the soldiers, and they killed him. On the other side, while Bresson's son was escaping with his family and the diary, another car started chasing them. When the son realized they were being followed, he sped up to escape. However, the car crashed during the escape. Both the son and his wife were presumed dead in the accident. But Bresson's younger child survived, the one who unknowingly held the key to unlocking the diary. Later, a mysterious man approached the child and secretly took the key with him, and that's where the scene cuts off. In the next scene, we see the diary lying on the side of the road, thrown there by Bresson's son to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. The story then jumps ahead several years. A city museum is hosting an exhibition showcasing important artifacts from Bresson's life. Among them, the most special item is Bresson's diary, the same one for which he and his son sacrificed their lives. Everything seems to be going smoothly until a guard rushes in and warns the organizer that the infamous thief Lupin is planning to steal Bresson's diary. Alarmed by the news, the organizer urgently instructs a security officer to place the diary in the vault, unwilling to take any risks. As the officer is about to secure the diary, a woman named Leticia, working as a guard, stops him. She has figured out that the officer is actually Lupin in disguise, attempting to steal the diary. Once Lupin's identity is exposed, Interpol officer ℍ𝔬𝔦𝔤 is quickly notified. Moments later, ℍ𝔬𝔤 arrives with his guards, eager to finally capture Lupin, whom he has been chasing unsuccessfully for years. Before ℍ𝔬𝔤 can apprehend him, Lupin distracts him and escapes. Now, the secret diary is being transported toward the vault, but suddenly, Leticia, just like Lupin, appears with the diary on a rooftop during a wedding. It turns out Leticia was also trying to steal the diary. Lupin manages to snatch the diary from her once again. Leticia tries hard to get it back, but her efforts fail. In the next moment, a girl named Fujiko appears and manages to take the secret diary from Lupin and escapes in a helicopter. Meanwhile, ℍ𝔬𝔤𝔤 finally captures Lupin. Leticia manages to flee and calls her grandfather to inform him that she failed to get the diary. Her grandfather becomes furious, as he was determined to get his hands on the secret diary at any cost. In the next scene, we see Jera and Professor Lambert, who were criminals working for an unknown organization. Jera and Professor Lambert also wanted to get their hands on the secret diary, and they were the ones who killed the famous archaeologist Bresson and his family in order to obtain the key to unlock the diary. In the following moment, Fujiko, who had cleverly stolen the diary from Lupin, delivers it to Jera and Professor Lambert, whom she was secretly working for. Jera and Lambert are thrilled to see the diary. But when Professor Lambert tries to open it using the secret key in his possession, it doesn't work. He becomes frustrated, and they realize Fujiko had embedded a transmitter inside the diary so the others could track its location and follow them to the treasure. As a result, Fujiko is captured. In the next scene, we see Inspector ℍ𝔬𝔤𝔤, who is transporting Lupin to prison with his men. Through their conversation, we learn that even Lupin's grandfather had tried several times to find the secret diary, but never succeeded. To rescue Lupin, his two friends, Jigen, a sharpshooter, and Gomon, a fierce samurai, track ℍ𝔬𝔤𝔤's vehicle, attack it, and successfully free Lupin. ℍ𝔬𝔤𝔤 is once again heartbroken to see Lupin slip through his fingers. Later, Lupin tells his friends about the diary and the treasure map hidden inside, but they don't believe him and refuse to join him. So Lupin heads straight to Leticia's house, having tracked her through a transmitter he placed in her shoe. At her house, Lupin discovers that Leticia is actually a student of archaeology, with dreams of studying at Boston University. When he sees the drawing of the secret key on a paper pinned to her wall, he is stunned. It's identical to the key he has. He shows Leticia his key, and she is equally shocked. She immediately calls her grandfather to tell him that Lupin has the diary's missing key, the one he had been searching for years. Her grandfather insists she bring Lupin to him. While at her house, Lupin notices a picture of Bresson on the wall, and Leticia tells him how much she admires Bresson, who was a legendary archaeologist. She explains that the diary hides the path to Bresson's treasure, a path he created with a close friend, though no one knows who that friend was. Leticia asks Lupin to help her solve the mystery of the secret diary and find the treasure. Moved by her determination, Lupin agrees. The two set out to retrieve the diary and hide on a boat. During their journey, Leticia reveals that her parents died in a car accident when she was young, and that she's been living with her grandfather ever since. But then we discover a shocking truth. Leticia is actually Bresson's granddaughter, and her real parents were murdered by Professor Lambert when she was a child. The man she believes to be her grandfather isn't her real one, because Bresson was already dead. Sometime later, an airplane lands. Leticia tells Lupin that the diary they're looking for is inside that plane. They sneak into the plane and see Lambert hiding the diary between books. They stealthily approach the books, and using his lockpicking skills, Lupin opens the hidden compartment and retrieves the diary. Once they escape, Lupin tries to open the diary with the key, but it doesn't work. He realizes they also need a secret password. After thinking for a while, Lupin successfully opens the diary using the password, astonishing Leticia. When she asks him what the password was, Lupin smiles and says, "I'll tell you when the time is right." After opening the diary and looking inside, they discover that it doesn't contain a map to any treasure. Instead, it describes a powerful energy generator gifted to humanity by an ancient civilization. The diary also reveals that the generator is hidden in a valley in the Amazon, and reaching it won't be easy. Before accessing the generator, they must pass 3 deadly trials. One wrong move could cost them their lives. Using the diary, they learn all the details about the secret energy generator and its location. But suddenly, Leticia pulls out a gun. However, she's shocked to see it's empty. There isn't a single bullet inside. It turns out Lupin already knew that Leticia was working for Lambert and was only pretending to help him so she could get the diary opened. That's why Lupin had removed the bullets beforehand. At that moment, Lambert also arrives with his men and captures Lupin. It is then that Lupin realizes Leticia's grandfather was actually Lambert, who had manipulated her by promising to send her to study at Boston University. When Leticia brings up the topic of going to Boston, Lambert becomes furious. He only wants to obtain the energy generator, no matter the cost. Soon after, Gerard arrives, who is also working with Lambert to get the generator. In the next scene, Fujiko is shown tied up, but as soon as the guards get close, she attacks them, frees herself, and escapes in a small plane. Meanwhile, Lupin also manages to escape after great effort. He overhears Lambert and Gerard's conversation and realizes that what they're after isn't just an energy generator. It's actually a powerful weapon they plan to give to Hitler. They believe Hitler is still alive, having survived the war by going into hiding. Leticia also overhears this and is devastated to learn that her supposed grandfather, along with Gerard, has been working for Hitler and the Nazi remnants. She tries to convince Lambert not to help Gerard, saying they are dangerous people, but Gerard doesn't like what she says, and he knocks her unconscious. Now, Leticia was of no use to them, since they had already obtained the diary. So, Gerald orders Lambert to throw Leticia out of the plane. Although Lambert wasn't her real grandfather, he truly loved her. So he hesitates and says they shouldn't act in haste because Leticia could still be useful to them. But Geralt completely ignores him and throws Leticia out of the plane anyway. Lupin, who was hiding on the ship, sees this and immediately jumps off to save her. Just before they hit the ground, Fujiko arrives in her plane to rescue them, bringing Lupin's friends along too. Geralt attacks Lupin and Leticia, trying to kill them. During the attack, Fujiko's plane gets damaged, but thanks to Lupin's friends, everyone lands safely on the ground. However, Geralt isn't ready to give up that easily. He returns once again and blows up their vehicle, attempting to leave them stranded. Due to the car explosion, Lupin, Fujiko, and Leticia are now stuck in the middle of the desert without any means to escape. Using his clever thinking, Lupin calls Zenigata and shares his location. After getting the coordinates, Zenigata arrives with Interpol officers and a helicopter to catch Lupin. Lupin then outsmarts Zenigata and tries to steal the helicopter to escape with his friends. However, Zenigata finds out and also gets aboard the helicopter. During the flight, Lupin tells Zenigata that Lambert and Geralt are working for Hitler and planning to use the ancient energy generator as a powerful weapon. Hearing this, Zenigata agrees to help Lupin stop them. Later, when they land at a petroleum station to refuel, Lupin approaches Leticia and tells her he found out everything about her through one of his friends. He reveals that Lambert is not her real grandfather. He adopted her after killing her real grandfather, Bresson, in collaboration with Zenigata. Bresson was actually Leticia's real grandfather. Lupin also explains that her passion for archaeology is because she's part of Bresson's bloodline. In fact, the password Lupin used to open the diary was Leticia's name. Leticia is overjoyed to learn the truth about her origins. Lupin also tells her that he marked the diary with his family symbol and realizes that his own grandfather was the same friend who had helped Bresson create the diary. That's why his grandfather had also been trying to get the diary all these years. In the next scene, we see Lambert and his men arriving at the mysterious cave in Messy, where the weapon mentioned in the diary is hidden. The cave is extremely secretive and dangerous. To test the danger, Lambert sends one of his men inside first, but the man dies after triggering a deadly trap. Witnessing this, Lambert understands that the cave is very dangerous and cannot be entered without the diary. So Lambert and Geralt decide to go back to retrieve the diary first. After Lambert and Gerard leave, Lupin and his friends arrive near the cave and try to bypass the first trap using the diary. Lupin knows that crossing these traps could be extremely dangerous. They first read about the trap in the diary, which tells them that in order to bypass it, they must create noise, something referred to as an eye for an eye. On the cave door was a statue of a monster with one missing eye, and around the cave walls were globes shaped like eyes. Lupin figures out that one of these globes is the monster's missing eye, and placing it correctly will deactivate the trap. When they reach the globes, they realize they're not ordinary objects, but powerful gravitational devices. With great difficulty and the help of his friends, Lupin finally manages to insert the monster's eye in the right place, which deactivates the first trap and allows them to move forward. The second trap is a field of glowing, tiny particles that begin attacking them. These particles merge together to form a powerful force that prevents anyone from moving forward. Lupin realizes they are actually falling stars, and only a meteorite can attract or influence them. Then Lupin remembers that his friend Jomon's staff is made of meteorite, and they can use it to attract the stars and clear a path. However, Jomon initially refuses to use his favorite staff, unwilling to lose it under any circumstance. But as they watch, the staff starts to attract the falling stars and clears a path forward. Thanks to that, Lupin and the team make it to the third and final trap. The third trap is a tunnel lined with colorful lights, but according to the diary, it's the most dangerous one of all. The lights are actually powerful laser beams that can destroy anything that comes into contact with them. Realizing the risk, Lupin steps up and bravely navigates through the lasers, avoiding each one with great difficulty. Once he successfully crosses the tunnel, the third trap is deactivated, just like the previous two. Now, in front of Lupin lies the powerful weapon that everyone has been after. But before Lupin can even properly look at it, Lambert appears with his men, captures Lupin and his friends, and takes them hostage. It turns out Lambert never left by plane. This was all a setup. His plan was to let Lupin deactivate all the traps so he could easily reach the weapon afterward. Lambert and Gerard then go to the weapon with Leticia. Lambert demands the diary from Leticia so he can activate the weapon. Leticia refuses and tells Lambert that she knows he is not her grandfather. Her real grandfather was Bresson. Hearing this, Lambert becomes furious and rips up Leticia's Boston University admission form. Leticia is heartbroken, as studying at Boston University had been her lifelong dream. Despite this, Lambert uses the diary to activate the weapon and leaves the cave with Gerard and Leticia. As Lupin and his friends carry a weapon through the cave, the entire area begins to collapse. Somehow, Lupin and his friends manage to escape just in time. With the help of Jenny Gautier's helicopter, they start chasing Lambert. Using Jim's skills, they launch an attack on Lambert's plane and manage to damage it. But before the plane crashes, Lambert cleverly uses the powerful weapon to redirect the plane to a safer spot, allowing it to fly again. Lambert tells Gira that the most powerful use of the weapon is to create a singularity, an object with such strong gravitational force that it pulls in and erases everything around it. Lambert activates the weapon, and soon tentacles emerge from it. A small beam of light shoots downward, eventually transforming into a black circular hole that begins pulling everything toward it. Lupin and his friends, along with their helicopter, are also being pulled toward the black hole. Gira is thrilled, telling Lambert how happy their superiors will be when they hand over the weapon. But Lambert isn't listening. He no longer wants to give the weapon away. Instead, he wants to use it to control the entire world. He even burns the research diary so that no one else can operate the weapon. Gira becomes furious after seeing Lambert's true intentions. He had been loyal to Koch, but now a fierce fight breaks out between Lambert and Gira. Taking advantage of the chaos, Leticia tries to reprogram the weapon. Gira sees her and attempts to shoot her, but Lambert jumps in the way and takes the bullet. He apologizes to Leticia as he dies, telling her he still loves her just as much as he did in their childhood. Before Gira can kill Leticia, he receives a message via radio that his superiors are pleased with his work and want to meet him at a Nazi base. Since the weapon is no longer with him, he takes Leticia to the base. At first, he is very happy, but after some time, Gira starts to suspect the man pretending to be Hitler. The man reveals his true identity. It's actually Lupin in disguise. Lupin and his team had already captured the German soldiers and staged the entire scene to trap Gira and destroy the weapon. Leticia now knows the full truth, and Lupin tells Gira that Hitler has been dead for a long time. Once the truth is out, a fight breaks out between Lupin and Gira. During the fight, Lupin smartly commands the weapon to retract its tentacles and returns it into the plane. Then he crashes the plane to destroy the weapon once and for all. Lupin tries to escape, but Gira isn't going to let him go that easily. The two get into a deadly fight. Leticia and the others mourn, thinking Lupin was caught in the blast and died. But Lupin survives. He managed to escape in time by jumping from the plane. Leticia and the others are overjoyed to see him alive. As Lupin prepares to leave with his friends, Leticia asks to go with him, since she no longer has anyone left in her life. But Lupin shows her a college admission letter and says, "Your place isn't with us. It's at Boston University." Unbeknownst to her, Lupin had already applied to the university on her behalf using her research paper. Leticia is thrilled to receive the admission letter, and Lupin and his friends set off. Meanwhile, Officer Jenny Gaudier and her soldiers set off once again to capture Lupin, and with that, the movie ends.